Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work on our level 3 questions. Okay, our level 3 questions are something that we've actually learned in our first learning target, which is finding the GCF, or what you call simplifying. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on that. So for our level 3 type of question, we are going to do the same steps that we learned in our first video. So when we are dividing fractions, we are going to do the opposite sign. We're going to go from division to multiplication. We're going to take the reciprocal, or flip, right? Reciprocal, and flip the second fraction. So that's our next step. And then we are going to multiply the numerators, which are the top numbers. Right, that's important to write down. And then the last one, we're going to multiply our denominators. So we're going to be doing the same thing that we have been doing, okay? But then we're going to add one more step, and we're going to simplify using GCF. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, how in the world is this a third level 3 when we have to divide then simplify? The reason why it's level 3 is because on our assessment, I will actually give you the answer to the division problem, and all you have to do is simplify. Okay, all right. So, but for this case, I wanted to practice with you guys, so that's why I'm going to have you do it all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to write this over here just for a little bit more room. 1/2 divided by 3/4. Okay, so the first thing I do is I'm going to rewrite this as a multiplication problem. Okay, do the opposite. The second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to flip the second fraction. Remember, it's always the second, not the first. Always flip the second one. So I just flipped it over so that the numerator goes to denominator. Next, I'm going to multiply the top numbers. Okay, then the denominators, I'm going to multiply 1 times 4, which is 4. And then lastly, I'm going to multiply the denominators. 2 times 3, which is 6. So on your assessment, it's going to look just like that. Okay? So I'm going to solve everything for you. So the last thing I want you to do today is what we're going to practice right now is simplifying. So we're going to simplify 4/6. And remember, it's using the GCF. It's what you learned in the learning target before this. Okay, so we have 4. This was your level 5 question. And we have 6 on your GCF assessment. Okay, we have 2 times 2. And I can circle both of these because they're prime numbers. And then over here, we have 3 times 2. And I can circle these because they're prime numbers. Okay, you guys remember the next thing we do is we look for pairs. I see a pair here, and I see a pair here, so I have a 2. And I don't see any other 2s, and I don't see another 3, so that's the only pair we have. Okay, so now let's simplify it. Remember what we did before. If we had 4/6 for an answer, to simplify, remember we just do one more step. I take the GCF and I divide it into this fraction. So I'm going to come up with a whole new fraction. Okay, so in your calculator you can type in 4 divided by 2. But if you don't like that, you can do it just in your head. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my new simplified fraction is 2/3. So really, when you are simplified with a GCF, you just have to do 2 steps. First, you have to make your trees, right, to find the GCF. So once you find the GCF, you divide top and bottom, or numerator and denominator, by GCF. So those are the 2 things you do to simplify. You make a tree and find the GCF, and then you just take that GCF and you divide it back into the fraction. So my final answer is 2/3. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to go ahead and practice some of these. Okay? So you're going to practice simplifying. And I'll show you what it's going to look like. So that's your first practice, is practice simplify. So when you had a problem like 1/2 times 4/5, and you ended up with 4/10. So I want you to simplify 4/10. Okay? Second problem, when you have 2/3 times 3/3, and you get 6/9. I want you to simplify 6/9. And then lastly, when you have 1/5 times, go ahead and write that down, 1/5 times 4/6, and you get 4/30. I want you to simplify those, okay? So you're going to simplify 3 fractions right now using GCF. All right? When you are done, I want you to practice solving and simplifying. So when you're done, you're going to practice solving and simplifying. Okay, so you're going to have 3 problems to do here. So your first one's going to be 2/5 divided by, and my numerator is going to be 3, right? And my denominator is going to, or I'm sorry, my denominator is 3 and my numerator is 6. Okay, so there's 1. So you're going to solve that, and then you're going to simplify the answer. Right? The next one, you're going to have 1/4 divided by, all right, so go ahead and write that down. This is going to be 8. All right, go ahead and write that down. Over 2. Right? And then the last one, you're going to solve and simplify. Okay, so you're going to do 2 things for the last one also. Right? 4/5 divided by, go ahead and do that. 4/5 divided by 3. See what you can come up with. Remember, if it can't be simplified, it can't be simplified, but I want you to try them out and see what you can come up with. Okay? So those are your problems. Go ahead and do those, and then you'll move on.